All right.
Hi, everyone. Today is, oh, wow, it's July the 6th, 2022. This is our Whole Life Healing Program with Dr. Alex and Dr. David, where we will address all lives matter. And so before we hear from them today, they're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to address. I want to show this disclaimer. We are waiting for Alex.
And we're also very sorry about the last couple of weeks, right? I think we missed 2 weeks in a row.
Maybe we did.
Or something. Yeah, anyway.
Anyway, yeah, we're sorry, but we're all back. Let me share this disclaimer and then I'll let you guys loose, okay? This presentation is for education and informational purposes only, and since we're going to be talking about issues of health and well-being, we wanted to make sure that you understand this information is not intended to heal or cure anything. Everything in the presentation are the opinions of Dr. Alex Loyd, Dr. David Peck, myself, or you, maybe if you share. You should always check with a licensed healthcare provider about any specific health concerns you may have. All right, guys, it's all yours.
I think it's just Guy. Oh, there he is, Alex.
I'm here. Thank you so much, Johanna. And for those of you who are new to us, the good-looking guy in the blue scrubs, his name is Dr. David Peck. He's a double board certified surgeon at Columbia Presbyterian, was a professor for 2 decades plus, 50 clinical papers published, 4 United States patents. I mean, this guy's the top of the ladder in medicine and standard science. So I'm just still have to pinch myself that he's willing to do this with little old me. But I'm a
believer. I'm a believer.
I know. And so today our topic is, I think, a great one. We've talked about depriving yourself, and we're sort of shifting to the other side of the railroad track. This was David's idea, and a great one, I think, to overindulgence. So, Dave, why don't you share your 2 cents, and then I'll add a Post-it note.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Alex. You know, what an honor to be working with you, honestly. I mean, the guy who's changing the face of, you know, there's others doing this kind of similar thing, but not really exactly. And leading the way and perseverance. Oh my God, he's been at this, 20 years now, and has taken on so much in terms of, I mean, when you're introducing something like this to the standard traditional medical establishment, believe me, I've been in the thick of it for 30 years, honestly, you know, and the science part and the medical part, and I'm sorry, there's interest there, you know, there are interests there. And when he's up against something like that, and what we're talking about doesn't cost anything, and it works, at least in my opinion and many other people's opinions, a world better than, you know, taking this and that. And, you know, anyway, like I said before, everyone that goes to the doctors should come out with a prescription for the Healing Coder trilogy. Honestly, we all need this. Okay. Anyway, so overindulgence, I mean, the deprivation and the overindulgence. So with me, it's, you know, I look at basically food and sex, you know, that seems like the 2 main things that, you know, we get, you know, overindulgent. And I was just one example. I mean, there's many examples in my life where I've been like way over this way or totally deprived. It's just like this huge imbalance. But, you know, when it comes to food and eating and the culture that I was brought up in, you know, my parents came from the war-torn Korea, the Korean War. I mean, they were starving. My father tells stories about eating 1 tomato a day and surviving on that. But, you know, what happened is, I don't know if it's similar to what with the Jews also, but, you know, there was this thing about food and eating. And, you know, my mom, you know, and like when I went to my mother-in-law's house, they were just like force feeding you. And the more you ate, the better you were, like the gooder the boy you were, you know. And there's also this thing in Korea, you know, about like, you know, it's like a status thing, you know, if you have all this great food. Well, the problem though is, I mean, it's fine not to waste food. That was the other thing. Like, we couldn't waste anything. We had to eat every little thing on our plate. That's fine if you're eating 1 tomato a day in 1950 during the Korean War. I'm not taking anything away from them. But the thing is, if we're in 2020 or, you know, 1970, 80, 90, we have plenty of food. You know, I'm getting sick eating too much. You know, that's what ends up happening. You overeat and you're getting like force fed and things like that. So, you know, that was the other side of it. So it's like, you know, I was sort of like living vicariously. I mean, I got it from my parents, obviously, in 30 years removed from or 40, 50 years removed from a situation that didn't make any sense. So, you know, I guess that's the main thing that came to my mind. I'd love to hear, Alex, your views on, let me just say one other thing. Like, that's the control, you know, the control issue is like, you know, we kind of developed this early on, and I'm wondering if this is potentially, you know, a key, and I'm sure other people have a lot to say, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about this, Alex, the key to something like weight loss, you know, where food and emotional eating, it seems, you know, key, you know, like you just, and that's like when you're a child and you're in a situation, you're kind of helpless, your mother, your father dragging you around left and right. The only thing that you have is, you know, control of actually is what you put in your mouth, you know, and you see kids like, oh, I'm not going to eat, you know, that kind of thing, because they have some control, you know, that's one way of exerting control. But, you know, so, and then how the parents kind of control the children with the eating. Now, my mom used to sit me down and say, you're going to eat this, you're going to eat right now. Really? Do I have to do this? And you'd rather not get to an argument. You know, this is as I'm older now, like in college and everything. So, okay, I'll sit here and eat. So that was the only other thing. And then I guess, yeah, those are the main things. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on the you know, weight loss and things like that, Alex, because I think it could be really huge.
Yeah, I think there's several issues going on with this. I think one of them is unhealthy control. One is, like you said, emotional pain, and food is just an outlet for emotional pain. But Dave, I had a very different reaction to emotional pain. I grew up, you know, before I went to school, I thought my life was idyllic. And then after starting school, I realized I was not real fat, but a little bit overweight, to the point that my nickname was Chunky, and they used to make fun of me for being short and a little overweight and a butch haircut.
I was the same, by the way, short and fat. I used to wear husky pants and made fun of.
Yeah, husky. I had to wear husky pants. That's right. I don't think they have husky anymore, and I hated husky. I'm glad they got rid of it.
I know. My brother and sister used to make fun of me for that.
Yeah. Now it's just another number. It's not called husky. It's just a different size. But anyway, Dave, I had one that was very different, and it's that I grew up being made fun of because of my weight. And at about 12 years old, I almost made like a vow to God. Have you ever seen the movie Gone with the Wind, David?
In pieces, yeah.
Well,
I played the music, but yeah.
Anyway, one of the most famous movies of all time, and probably the most famous line in that 4-hour movie, the most quoted, is when Scarlett O'Hara used to be rich and now she's dirt poor and she's hungry. She's just, you know, eating anything off the ground. Literally, she can get like dirty carrots that are half rotten or stuff like that, you know, because it's the Civil War and they don't have anything. And there's this iconic scene right before the intermission where she looks up with this steely determination on her face instead of the pain of hunger. And she says, "As God is my witness, I will never be hungry again." And then from then on, the rest of the movie, she's lying and manipulating everybody for money so that she won't ever be poor again. Okay, but she was doing it through deception and manipulation and lies and all that sort of thing. And so even in the movie, you're thinking, yeah, I'm not so sure that was a great vow. Even though you've not been hungry, you sure don't seem at peace or happy at all, even though now you're rich. And that's what happened to me at about 12 years old. I basically said the same thing. As God is my witness, no one is ever going to make fun of me for being fat again. And I started, and I was like obsessed, David. I mean, I started running 6 to 15 miles every single day. If I got home at midnight, I could not go to bed. I would go run. Okay. It was a total obsession. I would do hundreds of push-ups a day, hundreds of sit-ups a day. I would hardly eat anything so that, my weight, and let me tell you, it worked. No one ever made fun of me for my weight again. But the problem, Dave, is, at first from that, there was this exhilaration because now I'm not being made fun of. Some people seem to like me that didn't. Attractive girls are actually willing to go on a date with me. But now I've got this huge obsession over here that rules every day of my life in fear of gaining an ounce, of gaining a half an ounce, of gaining, a gram almost. I was almost like an anorexic or bulimic, and even though I never threw up or anything. But anyway, to me, that overindulgence started applying to everything. And so once I got into natural health, David, hey, if the suggested usage of vitamin C is 2 a day, 4 a day's got to be better. If suggested vitamin E is 1 a day, 3 a day has to be better. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is not at all necessarily true, okay? But it's the way I was living out of this pain, which then took me to an obsession, which then put me into addiction, full addiction. Every day revolved around weight and exercise and girls and the social part. And I mean, I was in this vicious triangle and I couldn't get out, and it almost killed me. And I finally was able to break that, but it about killed me breaking it. It was so difficult. And so, yes, if you're in pain and you deal with it any other way except to resolve the issue, you're about to get in trouble. And the way we typically choose that is not resolving the issue is extreme exercise, extreme eating, extreme something, drugs, alcohol, sex, TV, reading, whatever, okay? But we go to extreme. Well, when we go to that extreme because of emotional pain, we can know the emotional pain's already got my immune system suppressed, all right? Because that's what it does. So I can know if I'm in emotional pain, my immune system is suppressed, and the next step is to distract me from that, from what the real issue is and resolving it to my obsession, habit, or addiction. That's my way of coping with it. So to me, it can be anything. It can be food, it can be exercise, it can be reading a book. But when out of emotional pain, we do something that is anything other than to try and help resolve the source issue, it's going to make the source issue worse. So, and when that happens, as you know, Dave, when your immune system crashes because of stress, your metabolism goes to heck. Okay. And now all of a sudden you're eating fattening foods, but your body, because it's in fight or flight, won't let any of the fat go because you might need it because you're in a trauma situation. And when you're in a trauma situation, your body keeps fat because you might need that energy to fight or flee or freeze or something later. So yeah, when this happens, you are out of balance. You know you're stressed and your immune system is suppressed, and you're probably about to do a habit or addiction that's your way of coping. And it is a predictable pattern. And I've been in that pattern in 3 or 4 different things of my life. The exercise was probably the biggest one, but I've had others. I've had food as one. I've had sex as one. I've had, so yeah, I think that overindulgence is a coping mechanism. And we think it's innocent until 2 years later, we're like, how the heck did I get here? Because now things are just worse and worse. And I did that because it helped me cope. But now a year later, I'm way worse than I was when this started a year ago. My coping has actually backfired on me. Okay. So that's my 2 cents. If you want to add anything to that before we do intervention.
That's great. I was going to say, bring something up again about myself, where I had given this story about where my dad kind of humiliated me at a very young age when I showed interest in this girl and was telling him about it, and then as a result of that, I would always avoid the situation of liking a girl for fear of the humiliation.
Yeah.
And it's sort of that's it.
That's exactly.
It was excessive. Yeah. David,
that's exactly
it. Like this girl, it's like, yeah.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's exactly it. Okay. Do you want to start with a code?
Sure.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. So this is going to be for systemic overindulgence. So, okay.
And by the way, for systemic overindulgence, I think that would also be the emotional pain that's causing that and your choice to cope rather than deal with the source. It would be for all of that.
Nice. Okay. We pray and we request that all destructive, negative cellular memories, unhealthy habits and addictions, false limiting beliefs, and any relationship issues related to systemic overindulgence be found, opened, and healed through love, light, truth, and God.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
In the first position is both hands in the jaws. The systemic overindulgence and the pain that we avoid through coping. Second position is left hand Adam's apple, right hand bridge. Third position, both hands in the Adam's apple. Fourth position, both hands bridge. Fifth position now, left hand Adam's apple, right hand temple. The second cycle now, both hands jaws. Left hand Adam's apple, right hand bridge. Both hands Adam's apple now. Third position. Both hands bridge, fourth position. Fifth position, left hand Adam's apple, right hand temple. Head back to the first position, both hands jaws. Okay, that completes 2 cycles.
Okay, take a deep cleansing breath from your stomach, please, not your chest. And here we go with custom trilogy, starting with acupuncture points, collarbones, temples, little finger, eyebrows, index finger, under the eyes, thumb, under the nose, side of the hand, middle of the chest, under the arms, index finger, chin, sore spot, 9G. Eyes open, closed, open, eyes down to the left, down to the right, circle, circle back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Both hands brainstem for about 30 seconds here. And then left hand brainstem, right hand under the belly button. For about 30 seconds here. All right. Let's move to governing conception vessel activation. And let's do that 3 times in a row, please. 3 times. By the way, if you're lost with what we're doing, there should be a link on here to find an instructional video for free of how to do everything we're doing right now. So if you're like, what in the world, you might want to watch that. Okay, now let's go to custom healing centers and start with throat. Please open and harmonize. Forehead, please open and harmonize. Crown, please open and harmonize. Middle of the stomach, please open and harmonize. Base or root, please open and harmonize. Heart, please open and harmonize. And then under the belly button, please open and harmonize. All right, if you want to add one thing this week that we've not been doing typically, I would cup your palms over your eyes and do the rapid eye stress release 3 times. So let's do it together and stop together. So for about 20 seconds, rapid eye stress release, go. Stop. Deep breath. Again for 20 seconds, go. Stop. Deep breath. One more time for 20 seconds, go. Stop. Both hands over the heart, just for about 60 seconds. Deep breaths, let it process. Check your 0 to 10s, and then check back in about 30 minutes because it works at 100% for about 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes, you might be in a very different place than you are now. So I would just be aware of that. And that is it. So, Johanna, do we have any questions?
Okay, we have a hand up. So just this is from Vicky. Vicky, you want to unmute your line?
Yes,
There you are.
Hi.
Hi, Vicky.
Hi. I got a custom code the other week, and I was wondering the order. Johanna said to do it with all of the 12 categories. Now, my base, the primary feeling I had, false belief, was being a failure and not good enough. So when I'm going through each category and it has all these specific issues with like love or joy, what am I focusing in when I say the prayer? I mean, do I do a prayer like we do for the systemic, or am I doing 3 different prayers? And what am I saying during each one? Like it says, like,
the best, to me, the best prayer is the one, it's just the sincere, natural one from your heart about that thing at that moment. That's the best. Now, after doing that, and that can be 5 minutes, it can be the whole time you're doing the code, it can be for 30 seconds, it's up to you. But then after that, you can either continue praying, you can relax, you can think about nothing, which by the way is hard to do. You can just, picture laying under a hammock, on a perfect beach or something like that. Really, the best thing to think about is what is most comfortable for you at that time to think about. we tested people with heart rate variability and we said, okay, think about this. And they think about it and we look at their stress. But then we say, think about whatever feels best to you. And that's the one that would significantly increase their heart rate variability. So that's the best. But try a number of different things. Try listening to music. I love listening to a Delta binaural while I'm doing it, or one of the master key tracks. So yeah, there's not really a wrong way. Dave, you have any input on that?
I could just the angle that I'm seeing on the question is that, you know, to use the different categories, like your primary issue might be in the goodness category, that you did, you know, the fear of failure and that kind of thing. But what you'll see is that initial memory, whatever that was, will have parts that are also located in other categories.
Right.
And then also when you go to the other category, your intention statement would be to, you know, open heal, you know, identify the issue that you're working on. Any issues related to the category of love, say. And then as you're working that, you know, I pray that all cellular memories, etc., unhealthy habits related to the category of love. If you don't have anything specific, if you have something specific in that category, you say, you know, I have this thing about feeling flawed or something that's related to the not being the failure or whatever it is, that you could be specific on that in your intention statement. But, you know, again, and to echo what Dr. Loyd is saying, the best thing is something that comes purely naturally, that's honest from your heart. That's the thing that's going to be the most powerful, because it is very much about intention. If you have the right intention going forward, like, I really want to heal this, you know, to, you know, et cetera. I want to live in love and, you know, and I don't want to have, you know, negative emotion. That's what's going to have the power. Okay, I'm sorry.
And one thing that David has said repeatedly, and he's right about, that is a requirement. You have to want to get better. That if you don't want to get better, pretty much nothing will work. And I was told, by the way, by Dr. Ben Johnson, who was an MD, as David is, that if the person doesn't want to get better and they don't believe the medication will work for them, very often it won't work for them. So, yeah, and I'm going to have to run. Vicki, did that help?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, I've got to run. The lovely and unequal Johanna Chan is going to do customs for those of you who would like them. And thank you so much for being here. We ask you not to follow us on this mission to help people develop emotional well-being, but to do it together with us. So tell people if this is beneficial, share it. That's all. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Johanna. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Alex.
Love you.
All right. Thanks, Johanna.
Okay, God bless you guys.
Okay.